This is Justin Amazon on Wednesday, June 5th, 2019. Looking at the daily, today we opened up with a gap up, bullish retest gap from yesterday's bullish candle, and opened up right at the 5 exponential. The price of the 5 exponential is 1750.80. The open was 1749.60, and the high was 1752. So all three of those really close to each other. It just, I mean, it couldn't go any higher today. It's just right where it ran into is a good place to be selling, and also kind of this price right here was right into kind of some of the lows here, and where some of these wicks were. So there were people selling here. I mean, there's 4 candles back here that was a pivot, and so we're right at our 1747 line also, a little bit above it. I was hoping it would hold, switching back into the 5-minute, and this really small candle right here, right at 825, looking like, okay, maybe we could just kind of go. This looks like a nice S curve. And then as soon as the market opened, it just plummeted. What was nice is we had a really great retest right back into 1747, and then sold right back down to 1728 or 1727.80, and then continued almost down to 1715 or 1714.50. Putting a double bottom down here, really nice indecision candle on the second part of the bottom, broke out, retested with this candle at the neckline, and then just continued on higher. So nice bullish move here, looks like a double top here, came right back down into this level, pushed a little bit through it. I'll show you what happened in the option here too. This is at 11:30, and then bounced again and just kind of continued to grind higher. Couldn't quite make a new high until we got right into the close, where it actually closed above this high. But really kind of consolidated. This was lower highs and higher lows just until the close here. And then, yeah, a little bit of a pullback and just another bounce, nice bounce. This is a great place to buy, like right into the close. Last 20 minutes here, it actually put in a really nice hammer and bounced nicely off of this line as well. So there's a lot of interaction with the lines. This one didn't hold as support. This didn't so much matter as resistance. So I mean, it was more of like a V bottom sort of move until it kind of ran out of steam here, and probably that's because it had some pre-market and post-market yesterday values or levels in here that were kind of holding up. So we're in the 1730s. There wasn't too much going on in this space. It just kind of got back into about halfway in between these. That's about all. So looking at the call at 11:30, the price in here came down just to about $7, which if you look to the left where the cursor is, that's right about where this neckline is on the option price. So the stock came down, made a double bottom. So did the option. This was that candle that it pulled back and retested the neckline. It was already below the neckline on the option. And so had you been looking to get in on this double bottom retest, you could have been getting in 7x6. Well, that worked nicely. And then it gave you a second opportunity here, 7x6, that ended up going to 2R. So this one went more than 2R, came back, gave you the same entry, 7x6, and then went up to 2R. It didn't quite work here. Had you done 7x6 as it pulled back into it, probably got stopped out for a full R loss here. But let's say you did that trade, 7x6 here, made 2R, 7x6 here, made 2R. So you're up 4R. You try it again here, and you lose an R. You're still up 3R on the day. And then had you been nimble to getting stopped out here, and then looked like, oh, well, it's starting to bounce now, get in here, same thing, 7x6, and it ends up going to 2R. So, let's say you got 2R here, lost an R here, and then got 2R here. You're at 5R for the day. That's amazing. Same setup all day long. I like when the options go kind of sideways like this, pull back to the same level. Now, this one did pull into a value that was a little bit below, but then kind of held that $6-7 area for a good place to buy. Now, you could have been buying off of the double bottom, that second dip, 6x5. But that didn't really repeat until here. So that, you didn't get the other opportunity like this one. But getting in at 6 down here ended up running up to 11. And that would have been a nice 5-hour gain right there too. So it didn't quite touch the low You would have needed to be buying right into this candle, looking for it to have the same sort of move. Maybe this would have had to been buying, right on this close or right on this open, looking for it to bounce like it did here and continue making that assumption. And so sometimes it's not a good thing to assume that it's going to do something because, it may not always do that. But looking for this pattern to play out as a double bottom, here's the retest, here's a second retest, not quite to the neckline, but really close. It gives you the same entry, 7x6 on that option. That was the way to play this bullish. Playing it bearish, getting in on the retest up here, or this turning into a double top here. Let's see, this was bearish engulfing, and then broke down here in this candle, so that was 11.05. This was 8.35. So let's go look at the put. I'm sorry, this call was a 1750 call out of the money, and then the 1700 put. So the candle that retested at 8.25 came down to a low of 431. The very next candle actually had a low of 494. So it was possible to do like a 5x4, but you would have kind of been susceptible to some of this down here. Had it done a little bit more of a rally on the stock, you would have seen the value plummet pretty quickly down to like 3 or 305, something like that. I guess I would say that because we were in such a great place to go bearish here, so such a great place to have some resistance right at the open, and established that so quickly here that it was less of an opportunity for it to continue up right here. And even just with this selling, it was, there was an opportunity to take this, more opportunity to go bearish than bullish, I should say. More probability that was going to happen. And so, like I said, the very next candle here, you would have had to be buying at the open 5x4. So basically watch this close or get the order ready and hit send right as this is closing, and then possibly could have been filled right, right in here at the close or right here at the open of this candle, 5x4. And then that ran up to 12. Now probably would have been taking some gains at 8. Right here is where it was getting into the 1727.80 price. Taking some gains, or at least tightening your stop up to like 6. So you're in at 5, you tighten up your stop to 6. And then as it continues, you're again either tightening your stop, or at this point, probably just getting out at 10 or 11, or maybe you held at 12, I don't know. But had you been getting in at 5 and getting out at 10, that's 5 out right there. The other time was 11.05, I think it was. Right here, this candle, 11.05. So you waited for that double top to form on the stock, and here we are making a double bottom. At the 11.05 price, you could have been getting in here like 550 by 450. So you're below this low. The upper wick on, the lower wick on the stock here is triggering you into a lower low. And could definitely pull back to right here, just being in for 10-15 minutes or holding a little bit lower. That would have been a move getting in like probably right here, probably doing something like 5, maybe 550, maybe 575, or maybe even 6 by, or maybe a little more than $1 risk. If you had done 6 by 450, a little bit more than $1, all you got was an R out of that, moving to 750. So that's only an R. So it was much better to take that open move, the opening move on the day, rather than this one. And had you done that like 550 by 450, it moved up to 7, which would have been a nice place to take some profit. You had the levels in here, put in some lows that you're kind of pivoting at, and you didn't know it was going to have the second push here until you're barely up. You're up half an hour, a little more than half an hour, maybe an hour right here. And so if you're just looking to scalp it, that could work. But if you're looking for a solid 2R, it just didn't have. It got there from 550 to 750. That was a solid 2R, but that was all it had. And so that was because you're going bearish right here in the middle of this move, or right in the middle of this range, it wasn't as strong of a move back down into this line. Still got there, still pulled back, and yeah, then just consolidated here on this level and just kind of grind it. I mean, the opening hour and a half or two, no, yeah, the opening hour, and then kind of the next hour after that, that was the biggest moves of the day. Those are the opportunities to be trading bearish than bullish. And then the rest of the day really was a grind, even though it did give you some opportunities to be going bearish here and be going bearish kind of later here and then going bullish here or here. But you just got to know that we were making some bigger moves Monday and then Tuesday, and so Wednesday it makes sense to have a little bit of a smaller day. And I think range-wise we did, yeah, range, yeah, this was the smallest of the three. And it's kind of starting to maybe consolidate. I mean, if we go sideways a little bit more here, I'm still looking for us to be right around 1747 on the 7th here. So I don't know if we're going to push higher or pull back down a little bit. If we gap down, I would expect it to turn into something like this bullish candle, kind of bouncing off of one of these lines, come right into this, and then for Thursday and then Friday, hovering right in here. I don't know if we'll close right there, if we'll pin right at that price. But you have some bearish pressure here. You got some bulls trying to come in like they came in here, trying to push this higher. But it's a nice kind of X marks the spot sort of setup here, looking for that price. The other thing I'll say about this is if we can get a nice gap up and clear the high of today and clear the high of Monday, this thing's off to the races. I mean, you'll trap so many bears in here, bears from today, bears from Monday, and you'll show that this is acting, or this price is it. Sorry. Not all I wanted to do. What was that? It'll show that this price, 1747, is going to work as some support again, even though we're kind of retesting it from below. It's acting as a better resistance right now. So if we can clear this and even retest back down to it and then bounce, that'd be a great opportunity to be going bullish. And then I'd look for that move back up to 1800, maybe up to the 21 as the next kind of move through this no man's land, kind of going the opposite of what we did with this candle kind of thing. If we can get it open at this price close, close of 1764.77, we can get it open up there around 1760 something. Looks like that would trap a lot of people and just run. But I don't want to set up a trade counting on a gap. You don't know when those will happen. They just kind of happen. And there's sometimes where they're more opportune than others, like where we had these 5 candles, somewhat of an island, a little bit isolated from the gap down here, went sideways, consolidating, and then gap down like this one, knowing it was going to, not that it was going to, but there was some pressure to continue bearish and gap down here because we're right into the 5. So if you kind of look back at this, we were into the 5 right here with a bullish candle, bearish candle, gap down. Okay, we're right back into the 5 again. Here's another bearish candle. So the 5 has been holding the pressure pretty well, and it's just a matter of how long is that going to happen. We stayed above the 5 all the way back over here until we came into it with that candle. So is it time that we get into it with a candle, or going through it? Can we get past this with a gap? We did that here. We got through it and then came back to it and kind of continued this collapse. But it's been a really clean move lower with the 5. So that's why I look to see if we can get above it. That'll show something's changing. And if we do it this week, it's going to really have an interesting look on a weekly that we had, kind of this massive move lower. And then if we can end up with a bullish candle on the week, it's going to look like a massive hammer down here, really long lower wick. If we can close anywhere up in this price range on a weekly, I'm talking about, let me just show it. So we switched to weekly. I don't know the last time I looked at a weekly on here. but it's already a nice hammer. It's a great hammer right here. It almost came down to 1665.27, but if we can get a bullish candle out of this, a close back up closer to the 21 or even the 5, that's going to look really like a great opportunity to have this thing continue on higher. No guarantee it's going to do that. I'm trying to see if there's a candle that would look similar to at this level. Even if it looks like that, I mean, that kind of candle continued on a weekly. This one continued bullish. A little bit like that. There's a nice little hammer that went sideways for 3 months or 3 weeks and then continued massive. So even the hammer we've got now, if we can get above it in the next couple weeks, that would be a great continuation or a great reversal candle to signal, okay, get in bullish. It's going to go. But we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out and see how the week closes. But for the next couple of days, look for some more chop unless we can have some more really clearly directional moves. So hope this helps, and look forward to tomorrow to see kind of where we're going next. Hope you enjoy this video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.